Hi, everybody. So the way that this happened was that we recorded the Tuebor episode, and then we saw that Nathan Masry was in the news a lot. So the two episodes are out of order. And if you notice, as you might, I'm kind of going through some hard times throughout this episode. So I'm a little fucked up throughout the entire recording here. The episode before it, things were pretty bad. And, things have been bad my whole adult life, but before it was pretty bad. This one is kind of the bottoming out point for it. And then things are starting to get a little less psychotic in the Nathan episode. So if you notice that I sound like I am standing on the edge of a bridge, it was because in many ways I was. And so I just wanted to give you a disclaimer. That's all for me. Welcome to I'm From the Internet, a podcast about the internet, its users, and their consequences. I am deceased comedian Winslow Dumaine, sitting here with internet historian Jaybrandstetter. Jay, how have you been, man?
Oh, the past weeks are pretty good. Just, sometimes it's fine to just have a topic that's that you actually enjoy digging into, where it's not anything upsetting. It's just kind of I found some silly stuff, and sometimes it's fun to just remember that there's some silly things out there.
Yeah, I don't understand what I'm looking at right now, but it does seem to. I have thoughts about the way that one design philosophy can be stylized and overdone, and then it becomes the standard, right? Think about the way that the World of Warcraft, or just I guess Warcraft in generals, those guys would draw pauldrons. They would draw the shoulder armor, and those were always really exaggerated and really huge, almost like football armor kind of thing. And then that kind of became the way that people draw for fantasy armor, right? And then the next generation of people who learned how to draw were like, well, that's what they normally look like. Well, I'm going to make mine even more exaggerated, not realizing that they were already playing off of some other exaggeration. And so now I'm just looking at some concept art that has gone in every possible different direction, and it just looks real bad. But here we are. The things over here have been very bad, but it is what it is. I will not get into it. The other thing that we can say is that we do have a Patreon, where for $1, you can get access to all of our special episodes, and that there's lots of fun stuff out there, and all that money goes to Jay and Steve. So please check out the Patreon. If you have $1 to spare, we appreciate it.
And we actually have a companion Patreon episode for this one, where after we're done with this one, since this is one of those games that has a giant roster of characters and so many of them are funny, as a bonus, I just picked out the highlights and thought it'd be fun to just go through and kind of read some bios. I sent you an excerpt of one character that I think Steve was is this from a wiki or is this actually from the game? No, this is the official ad copy for these characters. It was just we're gonna have some fun looking at these guys.
Yeah. And you can get all that. And if you want to represent the pod in Meat Space, I have the first piece of I'm From the Internet merch available on winslowdomain.com. It's a very crunchy JPEG bumper sticker that just says enemy of the pod. For anybody who wants to be publicly despised, that's where you can get it. Go to winslowdomain.com, and all of that will go to Jay and Steve and me and blah, blah, blah. And I appreciate you.
Yeah, but I'm also including a link to it in the show notes. And also it's really cool that people are sending us photos of them with it. Shout out to the one listener where they have it. It's they also have a Bowsette sticker on their van. I was that's awesome. That tracks with our listenership. This rules.
Yeah, I really appreciate the people that have mentioned to me in public that they like the show, or that they've I say in public as if it's like a dirty secret, but you know what I mean? Like they come to one of my shows and then they tell me that they like the pod, and it means a lot to me because everything's on fire and it all sucks. So, yeah, thank you all for reaching out. It means a lot. It means a lot to me. Me specifically. Jay, who cares? But it means a lot to me. Anyways, I don't like how you pronounce the name of this game, but I guess this is how it is pronounced. Also, I have so much. The full name of the game makes it sound like it was translated from like an ancient language. So take it away, Jay.
Yeah, this does sound like a character from the Epic of Gilgamesh or something. Yeah, the title of this episode and the title of the game is Tuebor, I Will Defend, from 2016. And Tuebor, Tuebor, is the state motto for the state of Michigan. It is I will defend, because they used to be our frontier state. So it was like, that's what you call it when like people are going to try and come and take back the thing that you took from them. It's defending.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like the sequel of the game, Reddit. just one Latin word. We'll just name our game that. But yeah, it is very much like starting your paper with Webster's dictionary defines genocide as this. Webster's dictionary defines war as, and then you start telling me about Dresden. So naming your game the word and then the definition of the word is just really funny, I guess.
Yeah, especially when the big question you have is how do you pronounce this word, not what does it mean. Also, how do you tell someone to look up Tuebor? Like if you say Tuebor, it makes me think like Hawk Tua or something, like not like Latin spelling.
Or like something for a boar. Which I think that's another wrinkle, is that here we are talking about pigs again. So the other thing is that like there are so many cool. I mean, like, I'm a black metal guy, not black metal guy. That would be a very big twist for the pod. People would be like, oh, his name's Winslow. That makes sense. And so like the number of songs on my phone that have Latin names, there's probably 1,000. Because I'm old school and I have songs on my phone. I don't have Spotify. I listen to the whole album on my phone. And so there are like so many Latin phrases that I use regularly that they're like, they sound really cool. And they are like, if you Google them, you'll just see the black metal song that they're from, even though like they are historical phrases. Like this ties into what I'm talking about here. That's why I'm saying it in the next sentence. I just announced my new game called the United States Department of Gang Stalking. And if you want to play it, hop on my Discord, blah, 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 whatever. But you can, one of the comments on it was just like talking about how like it's a game about like surveillance and suspicion and control and fear. And they're like, well, what did you base it on? And I just said, si monumentum requiris circumspice, which is just, if you're looking for a monument, look around you. And that's just a Death Spell Omega album. All of this to say, there are really cool phrases in Latin, and this is not a cool one. It doesn't look good. It doesn't sound good. It doesn't have like the gravitas of like finis mort or whatever.
You can't sing about Sephiroth with this. Come on.
Yeah. Like I can't imagine a choir of like demons singing this, and it like opens up a gateway. It looks like, because I see TUE and I think Tuesday. Whatever. Tell me more about this hideous fucking game.
Yeah, so sort of the I guess the incentive of making this episode and its theme is I feel like every week on social media, there's someone going viral because they worked on an indie game for like years and years, and they released it, thousands of wish lists, and it only sold like 12 copies. This happens like clockwork. Like I didn't even have to plan for this one. Just like yesterday, I just went on Blue Sky and found one. This person for Mysticart, their game Mesoke. So they're like, after 3 years of work, I sold 77 copies from 2,800 wish lists. And first off, now these things suck because right off the bat, thanks to AI, most of the time you can just be like, well, it flopped because you used AI in it, obviously. Even now.
It also like flopped probably because of or like, did it even flop, right? Because I've seen so many different things where it's just like somebody posting their dog shit art and they're like, my art is good, the algorithm just hates me. My art is good, the algorithm just hates me.
Exactly.
And then you see it and it's like, it might not be dog shit, it's probably just pretty mediocre or whatever. And like, I'm gonna be real. I mean, like, I don't know. I don't want to sound like too full of my own shit, but like, well, who else is going to be full of my own shit? Technically, I am full of my own shit. I'm in the process. I don't know, kind of like a ship of Theseus, where my shit starts. Probably in the intestines, whatever. I don't think it becomes a turd the minute that it leaves your stomach, right? Like, that doesn't make sense. That's something else. Transitional. And so that is like when the caterpillar becomes the goo. It's not a butterfly, it's just the goo. All of that to say, I've seen like moderate to pretty good artists posting art that is like pursuant of a style that already exists. Like, you know, you can draw like a really cool badass warrior that kind of looks like Final Fantasy and it's got a dragon in it and it looks really cool. And like, you know, you clearly took some time with it, but it is at the end of the day, just a guy with a sword and a big ass dragon. And it's like, great, this is good. But you've kind of done this, like, this doesn't make me think or say anything. And like, I mean, I would not to toot my own horn or whatever. I already said full of my own shit, whatever. Like the post for gang stalking has like done crazy numbers because it's like so extreme in a direction that I haven't seen anybody else go. Because it's really bleak and really severe, and it's not anime, and it's not badass warriors. It's like, it's very intentionally not any of those things. And so like, yeah, your stuff isn't getting a lot of traction because why would you get the traction for the cool sword dragon game when we already have 100 of those? Do something else. You know?
Yeah, at this point, there's like half a dozen different high-profile Chrono Trigger homages that are just Chrono Trigger again, where like the only thing they have to say is, man, remember Chrono Trigger? That was a good game. And I'm like, yeah, it was a good game.
Right. Like, you can take a style and run with it, you know? Like, I can't say it's a wreck yet because I haven't played it, but there's a game that's on demo now. I think it's called Dust RTS, and it's like kind of a Command and Conquer Tiberian Sun situation, but it's really like grimy and dusty and dirty. And it takes a lot of the mood from Tiberian Sun and runs with it. And it's like, okay, so you're doing something that's already been done before, but you're really intentionally putting like a unique spin on it. And I think that that's really important. And that's something that like it resonated with me. And, you know, it's like, I don't want to see your flash work, you know, to like borrow a tattoo term, right? I don't want to see you aping some other style. I want to see your own vision. And like, if you like the swords and the dragons and stuff, okay, but like do a fresh interpretation, you know? Anyways, we haven't even talked about the game yet. Tell me more about this game.
It is very funny we were talking about that because one of the examples of the creator kind of like, you know, being a little too creative for their own good is like, okay, there's going to be no text in this game at all. And that includes there not being any sort of options menu. If you want to change the resolution or whatever, you have to mess with a text file. So like, you know, and again, for a game that they wound up using AI art on the sales page. So it looks like an okay game, but like, yeah, the sales page is just like that piss-soaked yellow artwork that doesn't look anything like the actual game. Just again, indie game isn't a bad place already, but seeing like how AI has kind of like, why would you spend years working on a game and then trip at the finish line like that? And now, whenever you look at the next fests on Steam, so much of it is just AI stuff. It's depressing.
Yeah. I guess like the middle ground is that they acknowledge that they made it with AI, right? Yeah. But it is kind of to have a game with no text in it is an interesting idea, but to not even have an options menu is like, all right, man, pump the brakes.
Yeah,
that's
like,
stupid.
That's something you kind of got to earn. Like if it was like the people who made Ico made a game that was like that, I'd be like, okay, these guys have shown me that they could do stuff. I'll give it a shot. But if it was just you know, a random person, I'd be like, dude, there's like 20 other games I could be playing right now. Forget it.
Exactly. Yeah. And there's certain things where like I think that having to look like having so much data on the screen. There's some games where like, yeah, that you kind of have to have that, right? And there's some games who like it makes the game more difficult, but that's the point. You know, like in the harder stalker mods, they don't tell you how many bullets are left in your clip because in real life you don't get to know that. You have to count every trigger pull 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you know, until you get to 30 so that you don't get into a firefight while missing some ammo. And so that can be really valuable, but you kind of have to build around it. And just to have like across the board, no text anywhere in the game is like, all right, dude, you're actually going to make the game more complicated by having refusing to communicate, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, it's like you make an aggressively anti-commercial art choice that like you don't get then like don't complain that like my game isn't commercialized enough.
Yeah, like imagine like a Dada artist getting really mad that he's not making money. It's like, well, you burned it. Like, yeah, you wrote a novel and dropped it into the ocean and it didn't get a lot of likes.
But my whimsical non-Euclidean chart said I was just going to make more and more money.
Yeah, God.
God, yeah. And so this is one of the reasons I was thinking about this is because like Tuebor is a story that's about a decade old at this point. This is something that, as we'll see, has way more resources than your average like little indie game and cratered about just as hard as any of these. So it sort of illustrates like this has been like this for a while, and we've had like several successive generations of indie game developers kind of going through this. And like I feel like it's just worth underlining that like this is the expected outcome if you try and do something like this, like if without any sort of existing audience or space or you know something out there.
Right. Yeah, you can't just like you have to have a hook. You can't just throw your shit into the slop pile.
Yeah, like I don't think the Michigan fandom was big enough for the Tuebor name to carry this because, like I mentioned, yeah, it's from the state seal of Michigan.
There it is, Sequiris Peninsulum Americanum Circumspice. Yeah. I'm Messian. No, it's not a Messianum. It's I don't know how you pronounce that, but it's the same kind of thing that I would say if you're looking for a peninsula, look around you. That's funny that I said the exact thing.
We did not set that up at all. Very good. Yeah, very good. Yeah, Tuebor, I will defend. Also, a cute thing I found is like kids who grow up in Michigan, sort of like a little joke they have is that Tuebor is the little man on the flag because the steel has like a little pioneer man and then above it says Tuebor. So I guess imagine the kids be like, hey, it's Tuebor. That's cute. I can see that being like
Tony. Yeah. God, there's a CGP Grey would have a lot of fucking bones to pick with this flag, huh? There's a lot going on here. Yeah,
sort of an infamously busy state seal there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's part of, I don't know if that's explicitly why it's called that, but the state of Michigan did partially pay for the subject of today's episode. And yeah, an indie game, which I guarantee nobody listening to this has ever played or heard of, called Tuebor, I Will Defend, like I mentioned earlier, from 2016. And this was a 4x4 arena shooter with a huge cast of heroes. Like we have a 5x6 grid of heroes on their character page. And each one of these is like, this was the era of like Overwatch and such. So all these in Dota, so these all have like a special ability and lore. And we wanted to like have bios for each one. Just a real, they expected this to have a fandom.
To kind of convey to you, there's so many names here. There's a character named Collapse. There's a black guy with like cyber dreadlocks named Danger Force. There's I1 who's like a cyber lady. There's a guy named Mango. Then there's some sort of spider bug man named Meyer. There's a different guy named Nid NYD. There's a guy named Uncle. But my favorite has got to be the cowboy, like the cyber cowboy, whose name is Clint, but it's KLYNT. Just incredible stuff.
A robot named Taror, like terror with an A.
That's rough.
Like I can imagine, like Todd McFarlane, creator of Spawn, introducing every single one of these characters. They're all just so. This feels very '90s indie comics in a way that's almost kind of nostalgic. Like for something that came out in 2016, I almost feel like you could tell like what the people who made this grew up with.
Yeah, it's all like Then there's a bird just called Grackhawk. Grashawk? Okay, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
They're all like really exaggerated in the same kind of like impossible directions.
Pauldrons for days.
you can kind of tell that they were imagining a bit of Rule 34 when they were making this, because some of these characters are kind of like built for somebody else's porny reimaginings of things. Yeah, it's all, there's like, it's so funny to see something that is like, it's like they put all the spices in the pan and they forgot the fucking bird. You know what I mean? They forgot to actually put the meat in there, because like, you can say like, this guy's actually 10,000 years old and his father was a sword. You know, it's like, shut up. It doesn't mean anything unless you really are like writing it well. Is that guy named Asthma? No, it's a schisma. And then Brillis, who's just named, his dad was a Brillo pad.
He has a big mohawk, so I think that might actually be the impetus
of his name. That probably is.
There's a guy named Arnold, like Arnold's pronounced phonetically, and he has a big Austrian bodybuilder in like Warhammer armor.
Oh, God. It's like, it truly is. It makes me think of the Onion article of interviewing the 5-year-old who writes the scripts for the Fast and the Furious movies. And it's just like, it's so stupid. And like, I get that it can be kind of cool to have a game where it's all Mortal Kombat things where it's like, I'm a robot from hell. And like, then you have like a guy who's part scorpion and he breathes fire. It's like, I get that 80s kind of exaggeration can be fun, but like, you have to understand that when you do it to this degree, because this is what, a 5x6 grid of characters?
Yeah.
It just turns into just shovels of slop, because like, you can just roll the die like 1,000 times and just get so many different types of characters of like, this person is actually 666 years old and he's from, you know, the Upper Peninsula. And like, you know, it's just, you can keep creating random shit. It doesn't mean that it's interesting.
And that's because they thought that this was interesting. They expected people to really dig into this. They had an entire trilogy of webcomics on their website, which is still up, explaining the lore of the setting and sort of giving you deep dives into some of the highlight characters. Like, the first one is 10 pages long. It's a wall of text. Some of them like, oh, here's our guy Brillis. His gimmick is that he has an extra pair of arms. There he is, pew, 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 doing his cool assassinations. Just, like, I'm jumping through these because they are long, but, like, there is just, like, so much webcomic in this. Like, if this was back in the bad webcomic days, you could, like, do, like, a multiple part, like John Solomon piece on these or something. It is fantastic.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here. And, you know, the comic booky thing, it's, like, it's not necessarily bad. Like, the backgrounds are really dull. And, you know, they're, like, competently made. Like, the artist for it is not bad per se, but like, it is, I don't know, man. One of the things that fucks with me is the fact that like, it takes me out when I see like a cool badass character who's like a cyber assassin who has 4 arms and a pink mohawk. And it's just like, what takes me out is the idea that this person goes to the store and buys hair dye and hairspray, and then does that before going out to do their assassination. It, like, that's weirder and stupider to me than having 4 arms. Does that make sense? It's just like, I don't know, man. It, like, once I realize that a product that I'll have like a flickering interest in something, and then I'll realize, oh, this is actually made for 16-year-old boys, or for like semi-rebellious Christian school kids, it just shuts me down so severely, you know?
Yeah, the rule of cool and maximalism don't work on me the way I think it's supposed to, based on the way people try and sell me stuff like this. Yeah,
right, absolutely.
But I will say, part of it is kind of charming. Is like, yeah, this was all done in Michigan, so it's like, you know, if something is made in like one of the big hubs like California or New York, there's kind of like a baseline level of like, you know, professionalism. Whereas this does feel a little scrappier in a fun way. Like, yeah, this is just like what comic book artists and game developers were in Michigan whenever they were doing this that could work on it. I think it does give it a bit of charm, even if the end result is still just kind of like a lot of noise that, you know, is just kind of slides off your brain there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all kind of bloodless.
Yeah, especially when you see like what the 3D models wind up looking like. They wind up looking real generic because at least you can kind of see like almost all the characters have a first one where it feels like the boss maybe was drawing it because it's somebody who isn't as skilled an artist, but has like a lot of, it feels like a high schooler drew it really enthusiastically. And then they'll have like a more polished pass, and then you'll have like the JC Penney version of it as the model at the end.
Yeah, it's all really stripped down. I guess, obviously I like to save polygons and stuff like that, especially if you're doing an online game. But again, I've said it before, concept art is always so much more expressive and so much cooler than anything else I've ever seen from a game. And like, I know why. Obviously, I know why. Some of the concept art I made for my games, I think is so much cooler than the final piece. But I don't know. You're right. It does just turn into like the most generic possible character I've ever seen. Because we have this, the original drawing of who's Brillo? Yeah.
Brillis. Yeah.
Brillis. Is like a black and white pen drawing that kind of looks like you would see it in like a pretty talented teenager's notebook from high school, right? A kid that's like, hey, damn, maybe you should go to school for this. It's not great, but it's there. And then the kind of looks like it was made in Procreate, a lot more dynamic. Like his body is shifted in a kind of a stupid way. Like I have no idea how his pelvis would be making that turn. But, he's jumping through the air and he's got 2 knives in his bottom set of hands and he's got 2 guns in his other pair of hands, and he's got this big old mohawk. And then you look at his actual character in the game and it does very much just look like they made a big version of the character, and then they have him occluding with a larger or a smaller version of the character, because his smaller arms and his larger set of arms are both sticking out, looking exactly the same. And so it doesn't actually look like, it just looks like 2 characters, looks like a small man standing behind a large man to give the impression of having 4 arms. And it's all very dull. And not nearly as dynamic as what they were trying to do.
It does look like 2 little Brillises in a bodysuit at the same time. It's hard to do because if you give someone extra pair of limbs, they have to like have somewhere to connect and move and everything. Whereas this one just looks like it's clipping through. They did the easy answer for it. Yeah.
Right.
And just like a lot of the characters kind of feel like they have a very obvious, like one of the characters, Micro Machine, is just basically stupid Dr. Manhattan, where he's like, what if the scientist turned himself into Dr. Manhattan on purpose because he was twisted? And also his ability is actionably 12 from Street Fighter 3, where his arms turn into whips and then he lashes at something. I'm not a fighting game person, but shout out to my friend Cass in Discord who told me that. That is actionably him doing the axe attack from Street Fighter 3.
Yeah, it definitely turned him blue, and he's definitely naked, but they did not have the nerve to show the penis.
It's Michigan. It's very cold,
It's Michigan, yeah, so it's all up there.
That is a very funny thing about this setting is because of the thing, a lot of it does take place in like New Detroit and like Lansing and stuff, like actual places in Michigan.
That's great.
It gives it a very edutainment feel almost.
Yeah, imagine like a game that's like they get $40,000 from the state of Iowa, and so they have to be like, this is Cyber Neola. This is like New Des Moines. I
mean, we make the jokes, but that was basically what the Demon Rush was for that guy's area of Canada.
Yeah, you're right. Just like really I'm glad that it's not just in like cyber New York or whatever, but yeah, it is funny to think of like the post-apocalypse where Lansing is extremely important.
Yeah, also just sound effect wise, baboosh is the noise for exploding concrete is very fun to me. Again, adding to the excited child telling you everything vibe. And then his arms turn into whips, and he goes baboosh, and the wall bows open, and then just
it's a lot.
And then the one after that is 66 pages long. It's all about the Spider Babe character, who's kind of one of the sort of highlight characters that they focus on a lot. We'll get to see more about Elidria, but here's a sort of concept. They're like, literally one of the characters is, what if you had like the top half woman, bottom half spider robot, except because this is a multiplayer shooter, they have to balance it. So in actual practice, she has a tiny little spider body.
Yeah.
They did her dirty.
They really, God, man. It just looks like she's got like the haircut that Jennifer Aniston had in Friends, except she has like a metallic bra on, and then like a spider body and like all these skinny little spider legs, very much like a Black Widow. But because of where the spider's mouth would normally be, she still does have those little pincers or the little arms, right? Where the spiders can manipulate things next to their mandibles. So it does look like she can just feed things directly into her vagina. But I guess that I would presume, I don't know where spider vaginas are, but yeah. And it also looks like she's kind of got an infection because she's all like glowing red near all the parts where her human body connects with the spider body.
Yeah, it's like the same vibe as like when someone gets like a leopard print tattoo and that just makes it look like they're diseased, like they have some sort of infection. Like same thing here. It's supposed to be like, I think, cool techno runes, but yeah, instead it's like, honey, I think you should see someone about that.
Yeah, it's a lot. It looks like you'd need to put some cortisone cream on it because that's definitely not something you want to go on a first date with. I like the big skull in the background.
There are a lot of skulls, as we'll see. Skulls kind of wind up being one of the defining features of the gameplay. And the third comic isn't nearly as interesting. Just New Detroit, The Wastes. Just the only really interesting thing about this one is the art style is completely different. It's like that very contemporary Tumblr art style where everyone has like the orange noses and the anime eyes and they're kind of like talking. Just not very remarkable. Again, 37 pages, over 100 pages of combined illustrated lore for a game that, as we'll see, like 70 people have played.
Oh, good. We have an article here from michiganbusiness.org / press releases / 2016. Yeah, go ahead.
Now, that was a fun thing about this, too, is like most of the documentation about this is in relation to the fact that it received some, it was one of the last benefactors of a state arts program that was closing down. So it is fun to see this video games development talked about the way you might talk about like the local pier adding a new sandwich shop or something.
Yeah,
just all these like business. Yeah. So like this one here, like one of the things like, oh, well, we're going to do merchandising to try and help. So even though before the game even came out, you can get all this, if you want a Taro or Skull Ball sticker or a phone case or honestly, I think they kind of messed up not selling underwear because I feel like a Skull Ball undies like that. Some people might buy it just for the novelty, like a Skull Ball.
Yeah, you can really just print anything on anything these days. So these are pretty bad.
But they weren't even made in Michigan.
It's like a disco ball that is vaguely a skull, and then there's like a little silhouetted outline of the guy at the bottom. So it really doesn't look like a skull at all. And then there's one of them where they just wrote the word skull ball on top of it. I don't know who Taror is or is skull ball like a sport to his people. I guess he's a robot, so it wouldn't really be people. I don't know. But yeah, there's a lot of when we say merch, what we mean is they made this one design and then they just uploaded it to one of those websites where they'll just print your bullshit on anything, and they just did that with a bunch of stuff. So it's not like they have bespoke merch like friend of the pod Winslow Domain.
Yeah, This has never existed outside of preview JPEGs.
Right. There's a lot of these that probably never even got printed. Yeah,
they received a total of $202,571 from the Michigan Film and Digital Media Office, the MFDMO, which was closed this program.
You don't need to tell me about the MFDMO. Michigan Film and There's somebody who's just like having furious phone calls about like, we just got a call from the MFDMO, and like this is like barely like that's their NBA, you know, like it's just as loaded to them as it would be for us. Yeah, that's funny.
God, yeah. So they closed this program in 2015, and Tuebor was one of the last beneficiaries for it. So it was kind of a tombstone for the whole endeavor. So that has sort of colored some of the coverage of it, and it's I found one from that article, the way that they describe this game is very fun. Would you like to read their description of the game here?
Tuebor is designed for broad consumer appeal and features a diverse range of video game styles, including adventure, combat, fantasy, role-playing, and strategy. Strength in numbers is among the leading wave of innovative gaming companies in Michigan that combine creativity and practical know-how with a keen understanding of how to compete in the expanding global gaming market. Yeah. Art. Isn't art fun? Yeah.
Yeah, it has everything in it that's very popular right
now.
Yeah,
this car is also a unicycle, and it makes pancakes. It's got it all.
Yeah.
You know? Makes me think of Homer's car from The Simpsons, where it's got like the big awooga horn on the side. And, he's got like a 2-story car and it's got big fenders on it. Like it's got everything that Homer could ever possibly want in the car. It doesn't really
Yeah, this
work.
is kind of a Homer's car situation. God, yeah. So there you go. Our mission is to build games that immerse the players. Games rich in story, effects, action, art, music, and depth. We create games which challenge the mind and delight the soul. And that's from their YouTube channel, which has 225 subscribers for 414 videos.
Oh my God. I just don't understand how this can be an entire studio. How do you get involved in this without having any passion at all? Or maybe you do have passion, but you just, like, you don't have any thoughts beyond, I like games. Because there's fucking nothing.
Exactly. Yeah. And the article does elaborate. It says that Scott Reschke, the Strength in Numbers CEO, raised $660,000 in a seed round for the company last March, and then a second round of $300,000. So he's got independent financing, it sounds, and then this grant was something that was done on top of it. And the program, after they shut it down, a very fun connection from this is that after they shut down that program, the public-private partnership that they replaced it with, the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, was based on attracting business partners. And per that article, one of the things that they did was they played a key negotiating role in attracting a Comedy Central series to Detroit. So the show Detroiters, and in turn, the careers of Tim Robinson and to a lesser extent Connor O'Malley, is at least partially in thanks to this successor program at Tuebor, was like the capstone for. So very odd connection to have with this. But yeah, they shout out to Detroiters for get something good from all this.
Yeah, I'll give them that. That show fucking ruled, man. They're so fucking funny. And obviously, you don't need me to tell you that Connor O'Malley is like an artistic genius. But yeah, that's so funny.
It's so
good for them.
Yeah. So now they've kind of established how much this was worth. Some more of the character stuff, just to really just show how, again, this is a better example of how it distills these things down to 3D. Like the 2D version of Terror, where he has like a little angry LCD screen face. This feels very Trapper Keeper Doodle. It's like I might have drawn a guy like this in high school. That's exactly
it. This isn't a composition notebook. This is this is next to the homework that you got a C- on. And it is a three-toed robot with like two legs. It's all really skinny and weightless. And like, I know that the thing about like any fantasy, like there are just questions in any game, any fantasy or any like sci-fi thing where you just have to like just forget about that question of like, how are they using gasoline in the post-apocalypse if gasoline goes bad in 6 months, right? Or like looking at a space marine soldier and you're like, well, where are they keeping all of this ammo? Because they're like this unstoppable killing machine that can shoot their gun forever. And so I'm just looking at this like skinny little bug robot guy with an angry computer screen face that's all flared outward. And he's got like, I don't know, it's all really chunky and wide while also being skinny. I don't know. It's just a bad drawing, and I don't want to see what it turns into, but I imagine I'm going to.
Yeah, so now we have the more professional pass on it, where now he's all shiny.
I don't hate this one as much as I thought I would, because it is still like a hominid robot with like little like robot-y feet things, but his rocket launcher things have been like scooted down to his shoulders. He has no facial features at all, but I just don't like that he's wearing a little bit of a vest, like a little bit of a tabard up top.
I think this gains a lot from the fact that they chose the backdrop to be a swamp. Like, I feel like you don't see us like a freestanding robot in a swamp like this.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of robots in the swamp. Not ever since the storm. Yeah, that seems like, and like, you have to think like, well, why would a robot be fighting for a swamp? There's nothing they want there. A robot might be fighting for a scrapyard, because then there probably is like robot stuff in there. You know, you got to think about it.
It's like a dystopia where all the robots are powered by peat.
Yeah,
always have to dig up more peat moss to burn.
Yeah, compute.
And then in the final game, just
oh wow, that's completely
what if he was
different.
Epic? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so this doesn't like. It's still a humanoid robot, and it still has a little like the little Zorp guns on his arms and stuff like that. Still has the flat robot abs, and then the rocket launchers are replaced with just some sort of like fleshy-ish like zap gun type of situation. And then the face has like subtle facial features, but it is clearly just a screen. Very phallic now, too. Yeah, no, this is worse. Definitely worse.
Yeah.
Still got the three-toed feet, though.
This one character in particular, she got older with each version. By the end, she looks like her mom wearing her costume, where they went from like supposed to be like a tiny Tina type character to like a soccer mom.
Yeah, the cyber goth dreads have never looked good. I will just say that across the board. But there's just something about, like, I don't know, man. I'm not like a Renaissance LARPer guy, and I don't like anything anymore. But the corset and the ruffly skirt and the stripy leggings and the goth boots, there are some people who are like hooting and hollering because this is the hottest thing they've ever seen. And it is not me. It is not me, dear friends. And so to see that like done poorly and then worse and worse and worse is, man, it's like microwaving a meal that you didn't like the first time, forgetting about it for an hour, then having to microwave it again. It's just not the first, second, and third rendition of this are all really bad. Because you're right, it is just like a cyber goth girl who just is getting more and more bargain bin as it gets deeper into the iteration of the game.
Yeah, so I think now they've kind of like established the bona fides, like how this game isn't super compelling like on its own. So it launched in September of 2016 at $24.99. So that's the other thing too, is that this wasn't free to play. This was a $25 game that they launched at, and what wound up kind of being its one defining feature as a multiplayer title is a mode that they called Skull Ball, which is where you have a giant skull that you shoot around like a soccer ball, and there's literal like goals. That's why one of the I defend thing is you're defending goals. That's kind of what it's like one innovation in the arena shooting area.
So it's kind of like Rocket League meets Quake meets Twisted Metal, I would say.
Yeah, a little like that.
Yeah. There's a lot of information on the screen, and I don't know, a lot of it does have to harken back to the fact that this was over 10 years ago, so like the resolution is not as good as it would have been, right? But I'm just seeing just a lot of shit on the screen. A lot of things are labeled and different amounts of health and armor, and there's just a lot of shit going on here, man.
Yeah, the bloody screen that covers like a third of it when you get damaged.
Yeah.
And then here's one of the actual skull ball mode. Yeah, it's just a giant flaming skull that you shoot around.
Man, I'm me, and that doesn't even do anything for me. I don't really care for skulls, though. I don't really care. But yeah, it is. It does seem like this just does seem like a thing that you can click around, that you can put on your computer if you want to spend some time clicking the mouse. You could also go outside, but yeah, there's not a lot to love here.
Yeah, very, very Fate game vibes and all of this. Like you see in the background. Yeah, so it came out, and it currently on Steam right now, it has 73 total reviews, 56 positive, 17 negative. And so the majority of reviews are positive, but this was a small enough number that we can't discount like how many that are probably like people who worked there or who knew the people who worked on it. But in general, just the biggest problem that everyone agrees with is that there's nobody to play with. Because they released this 4 months after Overwatch came out.
Oof. Yeah. And Overwatch, granted, we are looking at a different set of characters here. Like we're still looking at the concept art for Overwatch, but these are really diverse characters, really different sizes, and there's a lot more like flavor to this. And obviously Overwatch like completely changed the game for a lot of different things. But yeah, they just I would hate for Overwatch to be my competition, because one, that would mean I would be hopelessly outgunned, and two, it would mean that I was doing something where I had to compete with a game style that I don't even like. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be there at all.
God, yeah, and like I was like and outside of like my feelings of it as a game, like yeah, it was a phenomenon. It had 15 million players in September of 2016 when Tuebor came out. It's currently tied with The Sims and Stardew Valley at number 11 in terms of best-selling games of all time. Like It's one of those games where it's like if you didn't play it, or you're not plugged into that scene, you might be aware of like how big this was. So, and also like the month that this came out, Overwatch also dropped a big patch that added like a whole new skill system and difficulty level thing. So a bunch of people started playing it again. So their entire target audience was busy playing this. And even if you wanted counter programming, Gearbox, the people who made Borderlands, they released their own sort of stab at this called Battleborn, and that was also a huge flop. So like even a huge established brand couldn't succeed at doing what this was trying to do, and they were doing this as like a little indie group.
Yeah, like this is like an insanely competitive market to pull this off at all, and like it's frustrating because there are so many stories of like tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars that got dumped into Marathon or Concord or whatever to produce a game that just like didn't last or like did not do anything to unseat the next to unseat Overwatch or whatever. I think people still play Valve's version of things, whatever that one was called, Deadlock, but. Yeah, all of this to say is that like the reason that these were taking off is because the market had decided its champion, and it's kind of pointless to try to like come in and upset it. It's like you're not going to make it's Pepsi versus Coke, right? That's it. It's Pepsi versus Coke. You're not going to invade with a new thing that's going to upset the market unless you were doing something so completely different. You know, you need to make milk out of like a strange esoteric bug and then carbonate it and then put that on the market. And then maybe you'll capture some new people and maybe you'll slowly start to like make your own way in the world of carbonated beverages, but you're not going to make a new cola. Cola's been decided. We play Overwatch and we drink Pepsi Cola or whatever. You're not going to upset the market.
Very much. Like every decade we go through this. Like in the 2000s, everyone tried to do an MMO to compete with World of Warcraft. This is when everyone was doing this to try and compete with like Dota. And now we're just on the tail end of everyone trying to do like a live service multiplayer game and it crashing. So yeah, it's just one of those things that they just keep doing every now and then.
Yeah, I don't think that it's going to work. And it's going to keep happening for sure.
Yeah. And also, to top it all off, Tuebor was also an early access title back when early access was relatively new. So they were asking people to buy a multiplayer game that up front they were like, yeah, this isn't finished. We might not ever be finished. Give us some money, please. When people were a little less open to the concept back then, I feel, because it hadn't had, wasn't as common, I guess. But yeah. So just to kind of illustrate it, it goes live on September 14, 2016. Yeah, like you said, the Boar provides. It's like that they're calling it the Boar. That is just to really, that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah. It looks like you could rearrange those letters into something. Brute. You could spell brute. Oh, brute. Irish fighting game called Oh, Brute. There you go. You're welcome. Made a better game for you.
And like less than a month later, they're up to October 5th. It says, we've made some fun improvements to overall bot matches to allow players to experience more combat while we build our player base. So the big update's like, I know we don't have a lot of players, but we have bots. You can play against those while we hopefully.
We put more sawdust in the food base, so now that you can chew more things. And no, you're not.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's a 4x4 game, so you need at least 8 people to play a full game. And if you look, it regularly has just barely over 2 games worth of people. Like around this time, its peak is like 23 players. And then it just goes,
Yeah, man. I don't know what to say. Like it's you need to spend good money to get somebody, some influencer, some streamer to be playing this to make anybody care about it. But you're not going to get that from 23 players. Is just not a good sign.
No, yeah, gosh. And also, so the one big bump they have is in 2018 when they were put in a bundle, the Indie Gala Hump Day bundle number 54. And for people who don't buy a lot of PC gaming bundles, Indie Gala is the low rent one. Like it's the one that sells like adult visual novels and stuff on it, as well as like real games. So like the bundle this is from, I pulled it up. For $3.99, you could get Tuebor along with games like Hide the Body, Has Been Heroes, Beat the Game, Armored Kittens, and Arena God. So just like the most like Russian money laundering tiers of games.
I'm going to be real. I like games are a big part of my life, and I'm looking through this and I don't recognize a single one of these. That's pretty impressive to put together such a list. Because I like, I haven't, it's been so long since I've played a video game because I'm sad and busy. And I'm just looking through this list. There's nothing here. It took me a second to realize that Skullball was the same Skullball that we were talking about, that's like a...
Yeah, they changed the name eventually when it didn't sell very well. And eventually, especially when it went free to play, they changed the name to Skullball Heroes. So they gave it a more generic name, at least you know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, that's bad. Icicle on Thin Ice is the name of a game here. iCycle, I guess. Whatever. This is all bad. Take it away from me.
It's like 5th page of Redbox. Like, I don't know what any of this is, but I get what it's trying to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so part of the reason why this seems to have kind of died at launch was I tried to see what marketing they did, and the entirety of their marketing seems to have been buying sponsored posts on Imgur and making their trailer an ad on YouTube. So their trailer has like a 6-figure view count and 8 comments on it because people just get past the ad. And if you look up the ones like the people who worked on it made, it's stuff like the ability gifts for the heroes. So, we'll get to dig into more of them, but this is a really funny. This is when I learned that Brillis, to really add to the '90s comic vibes, he's one of the 3 black characters in the game, and his special attack is that he breakdances. He does breakdancing moves, and he shoots people while he's breakdancing. So again, '90s comics as fuck here.
Literally, I was just thinking about breakdancing in video games and just like what a funny throwback that was. Because I think about like how in World of Warcraft you can hit like /dance and your character will dance depending on like what like race they are. So humans do the Macarena, elves do kind of like a swishy, sensual dance, undead will headbang, and then the orcs will like do like a very Black American 2-step routine. And I believe that they do a little bit of breakdancing too. And it's like, guys. I don't think that we should be having your orc characters dancing like they're black people. That seems really bad. It's not that breakdancing is bad. It's that you're making your orcs do it. Oh man. Yeah, this is bad. It's like the more I see an ad in places that I don't want to see ads, I just think I'm just annoyed. I don't want to see it. I'll watch Northern Lion play a game and be like, oh, that seems interesting, and then I'll check it out. But I don't want to see like an ad where I just see like a little breakdancing polygon guy shooting a gun around the most boring arena I've ever seen. Doesn't work.
Yeah, and also on their official YouTube channel, one of the things I found was like, I guess they got some sort of box of swag from Imgur in exchange for promoting with them or something. And seeing like the CEO very excitedly try on Imgur branded hats and stuff on a video that has 1 like and no comments on their official channel is just like, oh, buddy, this was dead on arrival.
I feel like I'm staring into a dark mirror. I hope that this isn't the future of my life and game, because this is really, really distressing to see.
With your 200 followers, yeah, just like you.
Yeah, this is rough. Yeah, it is just one of those things where, like, the reason that I don't want to make somebody else, I don't want to make a movie because I'm like, I don't know if it's a control freak or there's just something wrong with me in general, but I don't want to work on somebody else's project, and I don't want to work on an idea that doesn't move me. Like if I was like a background lore designer and they had me working on Overwatch, some big ass game where they're like, hey, we have some characters, give us some lore. It wouldn't really move me because I know that a lot of my coolest ideas are going to be on the chopping block because they're going to be like, hey, we can't make a reference to that. This seems problematic. Or, hey, we need to simplify this down. And so it kind of removes some of the reason for making art, which is free expression, right? And so to have a game where everybody's holding hands and doing all of that to each other to ensure that we have the most bland and marketable product imaginable, it just seems like an exercise in misery, man. It's not what art's for. But he has a little top hat that says Imgur on it, and that's makes it all worth it, I guess.
Oh God, yeah. So, although unfortunately, like the people in this one didn't suck, I wasn't able to find anything bad about them. Just pretty. Now he works for Vertifor, which is like a cloud computing company now, which of course also does AI, but like in the way that every business does. For compared to our usual ones, it's just he works in tech just like everyone else now. He's doing fine.
Well, he works in Greater Lansing, which is kind of like working in Neo Lansing. So I'll give him that. He does. He still likes to go on the computer. Say what you will.
So just on the website, on the actual updates from the game, he would do shout out to Imgurian, which we forget. Yeah, I feel like Imager has its own community. That's
true.
A weird thing to think about.
It's bizarre. Like it's crazy that there are some people who just go on Reddit for all of the, like, they just go to the response image Reddits or the meme Reddits or like r/funny. Like they go to like the most basic ass parts of Reddit, right? And there are some people who just like cut to the chase and they just go on Imgur and they go and just look at pictures all day. And like there's a whole culture and community there. And that's fascinating, you know? That's just such a weird world. Like Reddit's already suck, but like that's an even deeper level below, you know?
Yeah, it's like, wow, you guys are still making jib jabs. I didn't know that was even around.
Yeah, it's brutal.
And also, like, I couldn't find it, but one of those, I remember, like, the whole reason I know about this was I found one of the sponsored posts when this was going down. It was linked somewhere. And the comments I remember for was, like, basically everyone kind of telling them that, like, this looks neat, but I'm not dropping $25 on this. You should make it free to play. That's the thing that people kept telling them over and over. And also, one of the things that made this unfriendly was, like, you had to register an account with them. They had to make a separate Tuebor account. You couldn't just use your Steam to play it, which there's not really a technical reason for it to make you do it. So there was, like, yeah, you're kind of a fly-by-night company who hasn't proven themselves. We're not going to give you our information. So that was another reason why people were a little unwilling to invest.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not doing that extra step. Like I just bought some shoes the other day, and I have to say, if I'm going to go shop on your site and it says, hey, we'll give you 40% discount, just give us your email. What you're saying to me is, if you don't give us your email, we're going to charge you 40% more. Like, fuck you. I hate that so much. And they have to, like, not even the email, they have to give them their phone number, too, which is like, Jesus Christ. It's so much. And I hate that extra step. Just give me the fucking shoes. You'll get my email when I sign up to buy the shoes online, right? So yeah, $25, and I have to, like, fork over my email to someone who's going to get hacked in a month. No thanks.
Yeah, it's like one of the positives they have is that people did like the spider lady because it reminded them of the robot spider from Toy Story.
Well,
so
it also,
I guess they did have, that was a popular design.
It's very much Kellogg or Quellog or whatever the name was from Dark Souls. You know, the big ass spider chick.
That too, yeah. I was wondering because this is 2016, so they were developing this right in the aftermath of Dark Souls, when like a notable spider babe in gaming history, and then they make their own.
Yeah,
so
well, there's also the spider babes in Castlevania too. There's a lot of spider babes out there, you know.
Baldur's Gate too. They have the drow in that.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if there's any babe spiders where it is a spider, but it's like a really pretty spider.
That feels like some sort of novelty, like dating simulator, where it's like a cute anime girl, but her head's a spider. Or something.
That's got to be a thing. I like the spiders that do the little dance where they flick their legs behind, so it is kind of showgirly.
The jumping spiders.
Yeah, those are cute. If I was a spider, I think that's pretty cute.
Speaking of spiders, I did dig up the YouTube comments for their trailer, and even the one that they paid for, like the comments I found stuff like, so the graphics, textures, lighting, character models, and animation are all final, and they will not get improved? Question mark with 2 replies. And the other one says, I don't see how this game is going to reach its full potential in 4 to 6 weeks on Steam early access. So right out the bat, just the YouTube comments are speaking truth to power here. But I did find one of the positive ones. Emily Springer 8207 says, this is awesome. Can't wait to play. And sure enough, Emily Springer is one of their employees from one of the articles. Also, her own channel has videos hosted about the game, and she's on their official YouTube channel. They have videos featuring her doing like Scream camera streams to try and grow their YouTube brand. So she's like in the comments of the channel, their own videos are on doing the Pee Wee Herman, like, I say we let him go thing. It's so So silly.
1 minute of hilarious, funny fail jump scare reaction compilation. Emily's Freakouts jump scare compilation. And it's the Five Nights at Freddy's scary face and then a bunch of other scary faces. Now, I need you to understand, dear listener, that like this is algorithmically very, very like a rich vein to be mining here. And the like because kids, iPad kids, you'll just hand them an iPad and they'll just scroll through videos literally all day. And so some of those freaky videos where it's like Spider-Man giving birth to like zombie Shrek and then the Hulk smashes both of them. Like those bizarre animated videos that we've all seen, and we've seen the exposés on how those are made. Those will have hundreds of millions of views. Because if you put on like a nursery rhyme video for your baby and on their iPad, they'll just watch it and then the next one and the next one, the next one, the next one. And eventually they'll end up watching, you know, Spider-Man taking a shit on Princess Leia's chest or whatever. And so they get untold numbers of views. 1 minute of hilarious, funny fail jump scare reaction compilation from Emily's Freakouts jump scare compilation, uploaded 8 years ago, has 391 views. That's so bad. That's like,
Yeah.
that is like the background static of the universe. 391 views, I would guess maybe 98% of them are not intentional clicks. They are just like a rounding error from 8 years of YouTube trying to calculate hundreds and hundreds of millions of different view counts for all of their videos. It's just a categorical failure.
And all of this being on the official studio page too, it just gives like such an image of them where it's like they're trying to do the buffet thing and sort of have a little bit of everything. But yes, it's like I'm kind of surprised they were able to get investors. Like, you know, I mean, what do I know about investing? But still, like if I was somebody with a lot of money and I checked and it was like one of the employees doing their jump scare videos right next to the, you know, stream of the weekly update or whatever, I'd be like,
Yeah, and I have to say there's nothing wrong with Emily. I'm not trying to like clamp down on Emily's life here, but she's doing kind of like a scrunchy, goofy face in the thumbnail here. I just think that you're too old to try to act this wacky. You're an employee of a company. You're not actually this wacky. You're just like trying to seem like you're 19 on Twitch, but you're not. You're probably in your 30s. And that's okay. You don't need to pretend that you're something else. It is kind of like when you see like a 40-year-old guy, like probably a 50-year-old guy at the mall wearing like Air Jordans and like a Asking Alexandria t-shirt. You know what I mean? Like you're aping a style that's not for you. And it's just hang it up. It's not for you. It's okay. It doesn't fit. Try on another one.
and also just like those comments, part of what I did was to show like this is sort of a common arc with indie games like this. Is during development, there were people who would tell them, hey, there's a huge problem with this game, and the developers will go, no, there isn't. And then when they release it, all the customers say the exact same thing, and they're like, who could have seen this happen?
Yep.
Like, I feel like even on our own show, like when we did the Brigador episode, that happened on there where it was like everyone's like the tank controls are awful and there's no tutorial, and it was like, no, it's not supposed to be. And then when people didn't like it, same thing with here this or I had actually recently very funny real-time strategy, since you talked about one earlier, a relatively high-profile one called Stormgate shut down earlier this year. And it was kind of another example of this, where the developers were all former StarCraft people. And so they were fundraising on their sort of name on that. And then when they first released it, the graphics were really bland and cartoony. And when people complain, they're like, oh, no, it's the style we want to do. We're confident in this. And then eventually, when nobody was playing the game, they tried to update it. But by then, the damage had been done. And eventually, they ran out of money. So...
Yeah, I don't really care too much about the difference. I mean, like, definitely the first, whatever, who cares? It's just like a bland version and a more, okay.
More like poppy one. Yeah.
God, I hate these textures.
Oh, yeah.
She's so squat.
Yeah, as you could tell, this was a character was designed to be seen from above primarily, and then they start doing cutscenes, and people are like, why does she look like that?
Yeah, that's pretty rough. Evolution of Amara. And it's there's nothing to it, man. God, it's so dull.
Yeah.
I
remember Kerrigan from StarCraft.
Yeah, it's this Middle Eastern Kerrigan is what it is. But yeah, there's it's such a bummer when you see like oh, I used to work on Warcraft, and you look at their game and you're like, this new game is just Warcraft again. It's the same style. It's the thing that you know how to do. Come on.
Very much, yeah. So with Tuebor, very much dead on the runway, they try and keep the company afloat by releasing a casual game for $2.99. It has 21 reviews on Steam, so it didn't do very well. And then their sort of Hail Mary after that, the following year in 2018, was they tried to make a $14.99 horror game that was targeting Twitch streamers. And it was made out of recycled assets from Tuebor and set in the Tuebor universe called Kate Must Die, starring Catherine, the mom wearing the cybergoth dreadlocks.
Yeah, dude. And dear listener, Kate is spelled Kaet. The font is like the scratchy, scary font. And I don't know what exactly she's holding here, but it's like, exaggerated lighting, really bad blood effects on the walls here, really bad textures. And it is, again, like a cybergoth girl with a ruffly skirt and the stripy leggings and the big cybergoth dreads. And it just looks like shit. Like, it's so annoying. It's not somebody I would want to hang out with or even talk to. I've known these people. They are annoying. All of this is bad. God. And it's a puzzle. It's like a horror puzzle game with 3 reviews.
3 user reviews. Yeah, nobody fucking.
Oh, man, hang on. I have to read this because the last sentence of this is so funny. This is the hardest, most challenging horror puzzle game you will ever play. 30 plus hours of sanity testing puzzles over the course of 10 horror-filled levels. You are Catherine, an extremely powerful psionicist with a flair for cyberpunk style. You have awoken in a dank sewer without your mind powers. Period. That's it. You are Catherine, an extremely powerful psionicist with a flair for cyberpunk style. You have awoken in a dank sewer without your mind powers. And okay, the final twist here is that its developer and publisher is Strength in Numbers Studios, Inc., and they have 3 user reviews. Strength in Numbers. Not those numbers, apparently. Not the numbers of sales. Just the numbers of your developers that are standing in the bread line. God.
Oh, God. Yeah, you see why I wanted to read some more of the stuff with this in a bonus episode. Because, yeah, it's all like that. It's all so fun.
Jesus Christ.
And also, like, the trailer for it on the Steam channel just has, I think, their employees pretending to be streamers in it. Because no actual streamer touched this.
And he said it uses in the Hall of the Mountain King is that dun 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 dun.
Yeah, like when you don't want to license a song for your trailer, but you want something recognizable.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, the trailer for my next game is going to use the alphabet. It's going to just be A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It's going to use the Pledge of Allegiance. The Our Father. Yeah.
The last stab that they made was they were currently working on, they put out alpha footage of a title called Uncle's Mad Dash, where it was a platformer starring the character Uncle, who's like a cool Australian guy with robot legs. And one thing I noticed from the alpha is as a character that is actionably Claptrap from Borderlands. Like, yeah, that is just Claptrap.
That's literally just Claptrap with a thicker wheelbase. A worse Claptrap. Imagine
and
that.
Then also, and they're doing Borderlands cell shading in this demo. So
Jesus Christ.
They were really trying to lead into Borderlands at this
I think
point.
that their goal here was to get sued by Gearbox and know that would like put their name in the papers more.
Yeah, their next game, Borderlands.
Oh, there you go. Character. That's it, right there.
Yeah. So finally in 2020, the company was out of money and they were having to shut down. So they made Tuebor I Will Defend free to play as Skullball Heroes.
Tuebor I Will Defriend is exactly what we should call this episode. That's so funny. Tuebor I Will Defriend. That's it, dude. There's your subtitle. Anyways, they finally made it free to play.
And this last update to their page also sort of acts as a post-mortem. So if you want to Can you read the snarky responses there? If not, I can.
Why early access? Mainly due to running low on developers and money. So now we're going to super indie route and slow boating it in under protective enclosure that is early access. That and Overwatch stole our thunder during the year we were going to launch. Talk about bad luck. Approximately how long will this game be in early access? Until Fortnite is no longer in early access. How is the full version planned to differ from the early access version? More Polish.
I'm saying Polish because it's funny.
More Polish. Seriously, what game doesn't need Polish?
That's not actually what they said. They said more polish, obviously.
What is the current state of the early access version? Stable builds and gameplay and some minor bugs that crop up, but you'll never know the difference between this and a Bethesda game.
Okay.
Will the game be priced differently during and after early access? It's going free to play. Seriously, don't buy this.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. Really going the snarky brand route to try to get people on board with it. You need to have some sort of trust before I believe your snarky brand stuff, you know?
Yeah, and also kind of like, gee, like if only anybody knew that Overwatch was coming out that year. Like,
yeah. Jesus Christ.
But one downside of this update is a part of it is since the Skullball mode was like the one standout version, as part of them stripping it down, it's the only version you can play now. But the bots can't really play it because they couldn't program the bots to recognize with the ball or play with it. So it's basically a dead game because you can't play against any bots, and there's nobody else playing it. So there's been no update since 2021, and the game's just been basically flatlined.
Yeah, so it is literally someone who does not understand ball. They're not a ball knower. Like categorically ball ignorance here.
Yeah, so that's kind of just how it sort of ingloriously ends. Just they made the studio, the game didn't land, and also just again to drive home, like this was a studio with funding, like multiple rounds of funding and government assistance, and this is the best they could do.
And now all the developers are continuing to be on government assistance. What do you know? Tuebor. This we defriend, or whatever. This is bad, and never heard of it. I haven't heard of a single game in here except for Overwatch. I guess Battleborn, and knew that one sucked. But yeah, this is really bad. I don't know what kind of button we can put on it because it doesn't exist anymore, and nobody here played it. But there you go. If you want to know more about this, find something else to learn about. I guess that's my takeaway from this.
Yeah, and then for the bonus, I did go through the character roster, pull out some fun highlights. So it'll be fun to read through some of those and just sort of enjoy some very, trapper, keeper, doodle character.
Very much. Well, that's kind of what we got for you here. Thank you for listening. Listening to us circling the drain about Tuebor over here. We do have that Patreon, $1 a month. All that money goes to Jay and Steve. And you can listen to us talk even more about Tuebor and a bunch of other topics on the Patreon. Check it out, link in bio. If you want to find us, we are at iftipod@gmail.com, iftipod on Instagram. On Twitter. We're not on Instagram. Don't bother us there. And if you want to get in touch with me, don't. Or go to winslowdomain.com for all the merch and all that fun stuff. Yeah, I have a Discord as well. Wins the domain on Twitter and calculations on Instagram. And Jay, where can they find you?
I'm jaybrandstetter on Linktree and Blue Sky. It's in the show notes.
Perfect. All right. Well, that'll do it for us here, and we'll see you next week. And thank you all so much for listening. I'm From the Internet is created by Jay Brandstetter and Wins the Domain. Edited by Steve Brown. Music by Steve Isbrook.